But what I wanted to focus on today was our rapid response program. And this program is designed to be compatible with our state implementation plan for particulates. The state implementation plan is what we put together, the entities here that are responsible for air quality, to give to EPA to say, here's how we're going to come into attainment, how we're going to meet the standard. So our intent of the plan is to reduce exposure from the particulates due to human-caused activities. So the rapid response program is if something were to happen, what can we do to prevent the health exceedant as quickly as possible? Secondly, we wanted to figure out some way to let people know that if conditions are not safe for them, to try to minimize their exposure. And then we wanted to see how many people we can get involved in the program so that they can help us solve this problem, because obviously just one regulatory agency can't do this. All right, here are the keys. The keys were that we needed to have more accurate real-time data. And typically most agencies collect data on an hourly basis. And after an hour, by the time you respond, people will have been exposed 2 or 3 hours oftentimes, and that just wasn't acceptable. We needed a quick analysis. If we can get quicker data in from the monitors, can we determine, hey, we need to get out there and do something? And so that was really critical. In addition, once you determine that there was a problem, how do you get the word out? How do you let people know to protect their health? How do you get people out there to solve the problem? So that was really critical to us. And again, we're looking at human-caused events. We're looking at mitigating the activities or stopping activities that are causing the problem. And then ultimately, we don't want this to happen again. We want some education. We want some ability to say, here are some controls that are needed, implement those next time so we don't have to do that again. So here's the structure of our program. We went from this hourly data that I told you that most agencies look at to real-time monitoring. We can actually get the data on a second-by-second basis. We tend to average it over a 5-minute basis because that takes out of the anomalous spikes that you see. But we get the data very rapidly once it hits a threshold to an air quality professional who can look at it and say, wow, this is something we should solve. It's human caused. And when the alert comes to the air quality professional, they look to say, hey, is it weather caused? Is there a way that I can tell it's weather caused? Is there something happening out there? You can tell by how the spike on the data goes up, whether or not it looks to be human caused or not. And then they look at it for a period of about 5 minutes. And if it is deemed to be human caused, we send an alert out. An alert is something like a reverse 911. So within the area of where we have this monitor that's going high, we will send an alert out to people within that area saying, hey, do something. Do what you can to try to reduce this exposure. Something's causing this. And I'll give you some of the data in a few minutes. So what happens when you send the alert out? Typically, people do things. If you have no ability to control the problem, you'll try to minimize your exposure. If you have the ability to control the problem or you were the cause of the problem, you'll do something to try to reduce the problem. Here's an example of somebody putting water down on an area that's very dusty that could get into be measured by the monitor. But there's a whole litany of things that you can do. Things for blocking roads, you can do fencing, you can stop, you can prevent trespass, and I'll show you some slides on that in a minute. You can actually halt activities. If they're causing a problem, you can actually stop the activities for a period of time until, say, the winds drop down. I think one of the critical key things that makes this successful is just the number of entities involved. We have entities from our state environmental agency, our county planning organization, that's MAG, Maricopa Association of Governments. All cities and towns are involved. We have health partners, hospitals and schools and health agencies. The media is involved. We have a list of other entities that are involved, from the Farm Bureau to our rock products, sand and gravel operations, home builders, contractors, off-road vehicles associations, on and on and on. In fact, we have over 6,900 parties involved with this. Not all at each monitor, but at selected monitors where they maybe have some activity. So what have we done so far? Since inception, which is about 1.5 years ago, we've sent out 18 alarms. So we've looked at the data, it's come in, something's going on. Out of those 18 alarms, we've prevented, we believe, 12 exceedances. And when I say we believe we prevented 12 exceedances, sometimes we don't have the data to verify. We have 3 where we can verify that we prevented. The others went down for some reason. And it's partly because by the time an air quality inspector gets out there, the problem has subsided. And so, again, you can see the data, 12 exceedances avoided. Early on in the program, we sent out alarms on those big dust storms. We realized that there was very little that we could do, so we're trying not to send them out if there are these huge storms that happen here, these natural events. We also had one circumstance where we were unable to prevent exposure above the health limits, and it went overnight. This was 11 p.m. at night and went overnight until the few hours in the next morning. Unfortunately, we had some exceedances, so we haven't been successful every time. So what are the key findings? The partnerships. The fact that we have so many people involved with us, and everyone is concerned about the air quality. And they're concerned for different reasons. Some are concerned about their health. We all breathe the air, and we all contribute to the problem. But some are also concerned about the economic consequences if we stay in non-attainment, and that can be substantial. What we found is that it's created some lasting relationships, and the lasting relationships often expand into other projects, things like field guides and educational efforts and some research projects. So those have been really critical moving forward. System improvements. In order for us to build this system, we had to upgrade our monitoring system. We went from landlines to wireless on our monitors, wireless modems. We've had to upgrade our computing capability so that we could process that data very quickly. We've had to expand our reverse 911 system. It's called Gov Delivery, so that we get these notices out very quickly. So the system improvement part of this is very important to this. We also realized that we didn't want to alert everybody every time. Again, you heard earlier that this is a very large county. But the alert may be one monitor in one location. Those are the people you needed to get alerted so that they could respond or they could take appropriate action. And you don't want to somebody 50 miles away, because our county is that large, have them alerted because it wasn't going to affect them. So this program has received some recognition. The National Association of Counties gave us an award for this program in July of 2012, recognizing that it was unique and really trying to respond to circumstances that we could control. We also received an EPA Excellence Award in September of this year. And some of our partners, one of those being the Associated General Contractors, acknowledged this in their national newsletter. So it's been a very well-received program by many people. We're very pleased by the partnerships that we've developed here and the fact that we've been able to actually reduce some exposure. Any questions?